Welcome back, everybody. My name is Robby Chin. I'm the Health and Wellness Coordinator and Personal Trainer here at Mac Center in Salisbury. Today, what we're going to be going over are good mechanics for getting up from a chair or even as far as squatting goes. Again, before we embark on any of these exercises together, it might be wise and who of you to consult your primary care physician or your physical therapist, or if you have a specialist that you've been seeing, make sure you get the green light from those folks first, and then we'll go ahead and start working together. So without further ado, again, we're very specialized in working with the geriatric population, but I also have a lot of experience training youth, developing, and also advanced athletes as well. And a big thing that I work on is just simple body mechanics of a very important functional movement, the squat, or basically like a sit to stand or a stand to sit. It works both ways. So the first thing that when it comes to a good squat is that the legs, instead of pushing up or down, they actually should be applying more pressure going out, which we refer to as abducting your legs. You're applying force outwards. So a good primer for this exercise actually would be, so that you can feel the muscles work, that should be our key primary movers of our squat, are your abductors, the muscles of the side of your hip, your glute med, and the sides of your glutes, your butt muscles. So what I'll do sometimes with folks is tell them to pump that leg straight out to the side. Don't let it go forward, go straight out to the side, and give her about 8 or 10 pumps. You should start to feel the muscles on the sides of the hips working a little bit. And I'll go ahead and ask someone to do that, a couple times on each side so they can feel those muscles and what it's like to get those muscles to activate, okay? And then, if you got a chair, now would be the time to put that behind you. And then with your feet, start you off. Feet just outside the shoulders. Toes can be pointed out just a little bit. And the main thing that you want to do is I tell folks to rip the floor apart, or it's like you're pressing out through your feet. Okay? So if you can take a look at my feet, here's normal. And then though my feet stay flat, I'm pressing out and feeling those muscles on the sides of my hip that I was using when we're doing our side leg lifts. You press out and feel those muscles engaged. So the more muscles that we can use, the stronger we're going to be. All right. The other reason why we do this, and the other part of an important squat, besides pushing out, I tell folks either stretch the floor underneath you, or it's like the floor is paper and your feet are ripping the floor apart. So we're pushing outwards so that when we squat, instead of just going straight up and down with the hips, we can actually sit the hips back so that we actually start to recruit and engage the muscles of the hamstrings and your glutes. So we push out and sit back with the butt. And yes, that will cause a little forward lean, but for folks that have some issues with the knees, whether if it's just a little bit of arthritis or they've had a meniscus tear, I've had folks rehabbing from a complete knee replacement, start to progress their way, and this was how we brought them back to actually be able to eventually full squat in some cases. So to train from the front angle, again, feet go outside the shoulders, press out through the feet. Feel the tension on the sides of the hips, okay? And then start to sit your butt back. Instead of just straight down, push it back. So I'll say, when in doubt, you stick it out. The knees, the heels stick out, and then your butt sticks out. And go down nice and low, all right? And then have a seat. And then on the way up, it's the same thing. So when in doubt, push the heels and the knees out, and then start thrusting the hips forward. Okay, so instead of a straight up and down motion, push out, sit back, back, and then we find the chair, all right? And then just to show you, I'm pushing out with my legs so that I maintain a well-grounded foundation in the floor so that I can sit my butt back. And by setting the hips back, we take pressure off of our knees, and I try and train people to sit as deep into the chair as they can. And then from there to get up, just push out with the knees, thrust the hips forward. And if that's difficult to do, you can always start with a higher chair and then start progressively working your way lower. To build the hips and the hamstrings up even more, which are usually pretty weak, go wider. Try and point the toes forward, press out through the legs, sit back, and then back down. Keep staying wide in the knees, and then drive the hips forward. So it's the same mechanics whether you have a chair or if you're air squatting. Push out with the legs. Spread the floor with the feet, but keep the feet flat. And then just sit back. Sit the butt back, sit it back. And then that way we can train the glutes, the hamstrings, the quads are still doing a little work. And then as we come forward, keep pushing the heels and knees out and start thrusting the hips forward. So it's more in the legs, push out, and the hips sit back. Push out with the floor, hips come forward. And you've got yourself a clean squat. So again, thank you for joining us for our little fitness moment here together. My name is Robby Chin, the personal trainer and health and wellness coordinator here at MAC. Come by, say hi. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. And again, thanks for joining us.